What good timing.
All right. Well, you know what? Speaking of doctors, there was a little phrase in here somewhere where he was like, "Oh, that his appendix hurt or something," and his doctor was telling him like, "Oh, you should get it cut out or something." So then he was like, "Should I or should I not do it?" And he was at some library and just dropped a book open, like a random book open, and it literally was like, "If a doctor tells you to get rid of a part of your body because it doesn't work, don't listen to them." And then he was like, "And that was my sign, and I still have my appendix." And I was like, "What the?" Which I thought was so funny because we do that. We do that all the time. I'm liking this book so far. It's a lot of, the same stuff in every kind of chapter, and I did highlight a lot of stuff, but I'll just kind of go through the main pages that I actually folded down. Um, One of them was if you have an idea you're excited about and you don't bring it to life, it's not uncommon for the idea to find its voice through another maker. This isn't because the other artist stole your idea, but because it's the idea's time to come. And I thought that was really good, especially since a lot of us are like, or a lot of examples in life where people are like, man, I thought about that like 10 years ago. Why didn't I invent that? And then somebody's already invented and patented, and now they're making millions off of it. Or sometimes we tell ourselves like, why didn't I think of that? So now we know the idea it's time to come. And if you didn't do anything about it at the time, well then it found its way to somewhere else. The next page that I had folded down was the story of the appendix. So literally he just said Dr. Whale told him to take his appendix out and he told himself he wasn't going to. Um, the other page that I folded down that I thought was kind of cool because I used to sing in my church, so I like to watch a lot of singers and how they sing, how they create like, in their studio or whatever. So one of them was artists often they'll sing random words or sounds that aren't words at all. Like when they first get into the studio and they're like, I kind of have a melody in my head. Let's see where it goes. So they just kind of start singing gibberish and recording it so they have it written down. It says this isn't uncommon out of gibberish for a story to unfold or key phrases to appear. There's no active attempt to write in this process. The work is being created on the subconscious level. The material exists hidden within. So I just thought that was really cool because I do watch a lot of those videos, especially like Kelly Clarkson and Ariana Grande, who are like crazy vocalists. Um, another one that I really liked is one person's connected place, maybe another person's distraction. There's no wrong way, there's only your way, and all of that. And between those two sentences, there's like a bunch of examples how like Eminem needs just one TV versus another artist needs like the radio, the TV, his phone, like everything going off so they can actually like function and think of an idea. I'm not like that. If there's a TV on and I'm trying to listen to three different things, it overwhelms me. So I have to like turn everything off and like shh, like stop talking so I can finish my thought process. But I did like the fact that it acknowledges some people can go and sit in nature and jungle by themselves and find whatever they're looking for within in those spaces. And for other people, if they sit in those spaces, they're like, there's nothing to stimulate my thought process or like my whatever it is that they're trying to find inside. And then the last thing, which was right on page 75, same thing as kind of like before. If you're not up to it, no one else can do it. Only you can. You're the only one with your voice. If a creator is so a little bit like a two paragraphs further than that, it says if a creator is so afraid of judgment, then they're unable to I'm sorry. If a creator is so afraid of judgment that they're unable to move forward, it might be that the desire to share the work isn't as strong as the desire to protect themselves. Um, I thought that was so funny because I I watch TikTok a lot, and I'm always saying like, man, I should just get in front of a camera and start making videos and just start making money that way or whatever. And then I'm like, nah, never mind, because like that's embarrassing or like I don't want to do it or whatever. So when I read this, I'm like, yeah, the I'm so afraid of being judged. I guess that I guess I don't have nothing to say on TikTok. I don't have nothing that I want to share that bad on TikTok that is as strong as me trying to protect myself. So. Yep, that was right up until page 77, which is like when the next chapter came up. But I am enjoying this book a lot. Like I said, it's a little bit like repetitive, but I'm not finding it like annoyingly repetitive, I guess. Like, okay, let's move on to something else. So I also do like that it's very easy read. There's a lot of blank pages in between, and it's very big font. So
That's where we find the agreements in this one, Lola. Yes, I love the fact that it's big pages, big font, lots of white space in here, cruising through on this one. This I don't hate it, but it's a weird one for me. Like I just don't know. I'm having a hard time getting into this one. Now, all of that said, like I said, there have been different books through the years. We had different ones, but there were a couple of spots that did like I had to go through this twice. So last night, Crystal and I literally started this book.
You fell
She goes, "Do you want to join me in the tub? We'll start the book." I was like, "Yeah, sounds great." I fell asleep immediately. So, I mean, it's like it was. So this morning, got up, did the read, like, it's like, okay, second time through on or whatever. But there's a couple things that kind of came out to me on this one. So, of the different ones, the different things. So I had this part when we were talking about everybody as artists, and we all want to hold these. This is on page 26. We want to hold on to these stories softly and find the space for the vast amount of information that doesn't fit easily within the limits of our belief system. The more raw data we take in, the less that we shape it, the closer we get to nature. So basically, just not just taking information and immediately just trying to make it something, like just taking it for what it is, allowing it. And when it talks about you're going to get closer to nature, it's like getting closer to the truth of whatever something is without trying to define something, without trying to categorize it, without trying to put it into a box. Like just because it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, doesn't necessarily mean it's a duck. You know, it could be a loon. Who knows? So like it's but the point of all this being is I did like that part. Just don't be immediately judgmental with something. That's how I was taking that one. It's just like allow information, constantly be seeking and searching new information. Allow it to come in for what it is, and don't just immediately do that. So that was one of the things that I did like on that one there, as far as how those ultimately impact our worldview. The other part of it here was on page 56, and that was this one right here. We are always changing, we are always growing, we are always evolving, and we always will learn and we will forget things. And we will move through these different moods, these thoughts, and these unconscious processes. And the cells in our body will die and degenerate, and no one is the same person all day long. Just again, going back to there's the constant evolution, the constant change in where we're at now. And it reminded me of something it was told me when I was 11. And I distinctly remember it because it was like, you are, even though you're the same person, you're always a different person. And what it was a family friend I remember we were over there for is people who would spend Christmas dinner with all the time, like good family friends. And he was telling me, he goes, you're 11. So imagine Chris 5 years from now. And all right, so I'm an 11-year-old. Chris 5 years from then, 16-year-old, I'm getting my driver's license. Then he's like, now imagine Chris 5 years after that, you're 21. He's like, so yes, I get it. Like 11-year-old Chris, 16-year-old Chris, and 21-year-old Chris are all totally different Chris's, yet I'm all the same person, right? Different hobbies, different things. And it just, that part of it, they remind me, like, we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly changing. I think of like in our relationship, yes, Chris and Chris, as we're coming up on it, right? So August 28th is when Chris and I had our first real date 14 years ago. And I think of how much that has changed over the last 14 years. I mean, I look exactly the same. I haven't aged at all. But
Okay.
besides that, like we've gone on all sorts of experiences, we've done different things. Like it's pretty cool to think that, yes, here we are going on, 14 year, 25-year-old Chris and 39-year-old Chris. That's even wild to say. Totally different people,
Still a
right?
child, though.
Yes, there's been this running theme that's turned into I'm Crystal's 39-year-old. And that started over in Croatia. It's like people were talking about, raising their kids, and Crystal just pipes in, yeah, I've got a 39-year-old. And it's like, it's true. Like, I'm just a big kid. So, Peter Pan syndrome, I don't at all disagree with it. Yeah, I don't want to grow up. Like, I'll do what I have to do to grow up and live, but I just like being a big kid. It's funner that way. But all that to say, some things will never change that. But the reality is, yes, we're always constantly changing. We're always like, and just be aware of that, be mindful of that. And that is okay. That's part of every day. And every day we can change and grow. And I heard something today, just this morning, before this, we were on our mastermind call. And one of the things it was talking about is, as I wrote down here, the constant changing, intentionally trying to learn something new today that will make tomorrow different. Otherwise, you're just reliving today the same. And I was like, yeah, like just finding that intentionality to grow, to change, to make tomorrow a better place for you and everybody around you. I did like that part, so it kind of tied into this. And then the last thing that I had from this, so like I said, even though this hasn't been the most thrilling, yes, there's a few things that I'm getting on this. As, or was it on this one? Yes, when I was talking about the sun, it's always there. And even on cloudy days, Like, yes, knowing that the sun is on the other side of the clouds is like, it's so easy to get caught up if something bad happens or if something crazy is going on in your life to just immediately get super focused. And some things you should. Like, I absolutely agree or disagree. If you have your appendix burst, yes, go to the doctor, get it taken out. I don't know why this guy still has that in there. There are certain things that are going to require medical attention. Get that done. I can't disagree. Like, I don't want to go sepsis. Like, yes, get that done. So certain things are going to take your attention away. But if you can pull yourself out of those chaotic situations, like depending on the emergency and what it is, but look at it from a higher macro view and just know that things are always, tomorrow's going to be another day. Now, it's not promised. Like there are things that happen, right? That's just part of life. But what can you do every day to help make sure that you give yourself that opportunity for tomorrow? And knowing that whether it's rainy or whether it's sunny, there's always a chance it's going to be sunny again tomorrow. And it's always there on the other side of it. And so just being aware that even though it might be raining today, it's not the sunshine that you were hoping for. What can you do to make your own sunshine? That's how I took out of that one. So, anyways, there's kind of my goofy takeaways on that one. And then, yes, to answer your question, what's the mastermind called? That's just a business group that Crystal and I are in sharing ideas with people all over the U.S. So, anyways, that's totally different thing, separate from this. But yeah, that's why I call it our Winning Wednesdays. We roll right from the mastermind call right into book club. And then, yeah, just it's the work from home Wednesdays, the Winning Wednesdays. It's how we get to work on the business and all that fun stuff. So.
Well, I can't say I learned about moose hunting today, so definitely we'll be able to carry that into tomorrow somehow.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
sure.
Perfect.
I'll figure out how
Yeah.
to do that.
They'll fill in your freezers with hundreds of pounds of delicious, fresh raw meat. It's fantastic.
Maybe you'll join him one day on a hunt.
That would be a day. Yes. That, oh my goodness. See Jay out there roughing it up. Like, we were out at the cabin this last weekend, and Crystal, Shannon, you're talking about like, your husband coming home. Like, I was out at the cabin for a night and come back and was like, you got to get in the shower right away. It's like, what? Like, I plan on going out there for 6 days here coming up next week. And so it's like, and Grant will be.
That's why she's going to be in Scotland.
Confident away.
That's fine. I'll be gone.
But
Whatever you gotta do.
Wait, your cabin doesn't have a shower?
it's got a solar shower. It doesn't have running water.
Wait, what does that mean?
A solar shower, so it's.
You put it outside and the sun apparently heats it up. The
Hold on.
non-existent
Let me
sun when
find.
it's,
It's right
great.
here.
You said apparently, but it doesn't really work that well.
It
Crystal, is that what
doesn't
you mean?
have running water. So have you ever seen one of these things here? Let's see. Solar shower images.
Is there a lake nearby you can go jump in?
Yeah, we have a lake,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't
It's
want
in
to.
Alaska, Rhonda. It's very cold.
Oh,
So,
very cold.
These
Okay.
solar showers. So you fill them up, like it takes about 2 gallons. It's not a whole high pressure system. No, you're just putting. You put a gallon of water in, and then you fill up a teapot on the stove, warm it up, pour that in. Now you get warm water. You rinse yourself off. You feel amazing when you're out in the woods. Then yeah, sure. When you come home, you do your normal shower stuff, but out there it feels amazing. Part of it has to do with the location. But yes, after a couple days out there, getting a little solar shower feels fantastic.
So it's very Little House on the Prairie, like when I was a kid, where
You do it, call it what you want, but yeah, moose hunting, Little House on the Prairie, like yeah, whatever. Yeah, no, it's wonderful out there. Absolutely love it. And so to that, here's how I tie it into the book. Some people go out to nature, some go to the concrete jungles. Yes, that is one of the biggest reasons that I've always I can never truly explain it. When I get to sit out there, like when I'm all by myself, I'm sitting in the moose stand, surrounded by nature. There's no human sounds of any kind all around. Like there is something absolutely it is amazing, and that's part of the reason why I love it. Whether we actually are successful in harvesting the moose or not, it's just I always look at call it my annual reset because I'm just sitting out there, relaxing, enjoying in nature. Whether it's a sunny day or rainy day, I got good rain gear. Like I bring my books out there, I'll read those. I've sent a picture of that years ago. I think it was The Psychology of Money was the one that I had. The picture of that book that was on our book club Facebook page, as I recall, that picture was taken for the moose stand. So yes.
Well, what are the chances you guys will kill a moose?
Let's see. We've been going out there since I was in 5th grade. It's 30 years. I'd say we're at about 60% success rate. Some years it's like we'll go back to back to back. Some years it's nothing. So yeah, you just never know.
How big are the mooses? How big are the mooses or the mooses that you bag?
They're I like the way you phrase that. That's
The
fantastic.
mooses, yes.
There's a moose.
So No, they're the ones we go to in any bowl area. Yes, if you look in the background, there she's got a nice one up on the wall there. That's a beautiful one. No, they're you're getting up to a 12, 1,400 pound animal. They're as big as a horse. Like they're not tiny.
Yeah,
They're
not-
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Mhm.
they're massive critters for sure.
Nothing would give me more anxiety than sitting there in nature and not hearing like a human around me or something like that. I would be all freaked out that I'm gonna be prey for some bigger animal behind me somewhere.
It's so peaceful.
Well, I'll jump back and tie it into the book here. And so on page 53, I really liked the small little snippet where it said, "There's a reason we are drawn to gazing at the ocean," right? So maybe the ocean can be nature or whatever part of nature for somebody else, but it is said the ocean provides a closer reflection of who we are than any mirror. And I just love that. I've always been drawn to the ocean. I absolutely love the ocean. I even said I couldn't tell you exactly what it was, but when we were in Croatia, the Adriatic Sea had just like this amazing healing, just like hold to it, which I
Energy.
don't even know what. Yeah, I don't even know what it healed. It was just so
It's
calming,
salty.
and but it was like it expanded my brain beyond what I probably have ever felt in my adult life. And so I love that little snippet there because I think it's so true, and the creativity and the thoughts and the ideas that come to you when you're in your space and you're in that vulnerable state of receiving, I think is absolutely magical. And I think that ties into like what Lola had brought up was that when it's the idea, it's time to come. It's like it's there, right? Act on it. It was also something that I had heard in the past couple of months over and over again that those ideas that come to you, they're not random. They're not random. They're meant to be there. So if you're sitting with that idea, or you've kind of been like, oh man, this keeps popping up, right? Act on it, because it is that idea's time to become relevant, to be made into something, and so it's our responsibility to act on it, and so to listen to those things. I am enjoying the book. It is a little bit of a different because I keep almost expecting a little bit more, and it's just like really small snippets, but I actually appreciate that because I think it's a little more bite-sized. I was laughing to myself as I was listening to this because I remember, like I've always been a creative person. I thrive on creativity. That's I absolutely love what I do, events and branding and design. But I think it was either my 8th grade year or my freshman year. We had to do a big project, and I did a massive project on the theme of creativity. And so, like, this was kind of like bringing me back, like, oh yeah, I remember that exact page that I wrote all about this concept of, being in nature and finding your creativity. And so, yeah, just like little parts of this. There was the other little segment where he was talking about, sometimes creativity comes from looking for what you notice but no one else does. I definitely find myself doing that when I travel. It's also why I love traveling. I love to look at business logos and other collectors. I love the the creativity behind like pointing out and being like, oh, I see why they designed their logo like this, or I get what they're trying to, depict. And I love looking at packaging and seeing how people create packaging to go along with their brand. So like I feel that that's kind of what sometimes I see that others don't, or I see how something could be made into something pretty like on on brand. But again, just from that creative lens that I feel like I've always cultivated. Like you said in the book, some people might just come out and say, "Hey, I'm not a creative person," but the reality is, you do have your own creativity, which is kind of how you mold it. He's just showing you. I don't remember the other book we read where it was kind of similar, where it's like, "Oh, I'm not this," but the reality is, here's all the ways that you can find that within yourself. Yeah, I like it. I wouldn't say like I'm thoroughly enjoying it, but I like the bite-sized concept and way to kind of think. But I'm already a creative person, so I feel like I don't necessarily need another way to be taught how to be creative.
I
But
do love that it's not a super dense book.
Yeah.
That would make this like, whoa.
Yeah, I was a little scared when I saw the size of it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, dang, this is like one of the bigger ones we've had in a minute.
like it's like 400 pages. I was like, oh my gosh,
World proof.
what do we need to know about creativity in 400 pages?
And I don't know how you guys are listening to it because I tried to listen to it and at least what I was listening to had a big old ding in the beginning, right? Like it was like ding, and I was like, oh, so
Yeah.
I already know that doesn't work for me. And I was like, never mind. I literally stopped it. Like as soon as it started the first chapter, I stopped it. I'm like, never mind, I'll just read it.
Yeah, it's a gong at the start or the end of every chapter. Yeah.
It's a lot lighter in between, so if that
Oh,
helps.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that first one I literally felt it ring my
Yeah, that one was really loud, but the rest of them are just very light. Like it's the end of a chapter.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Maybe I'll give that another chance then.
time for another speaker. Boom.
Lola, it's like how your text messages. Every time your text messages start when you're doing a voice to text, it's like that loud ding, and I can't hear anything else. I'm like, oh, and then like slowly your voice comes through, and I'm like, okay, so it's like that's what it makes me think of. So I'll jump in. So I had similar I have similar feelings about the book like Chris had. Like it's really hard. I've been finding it hard to get into it. I almost find I don't know. I find it a little bit basic in terms of like what he's talking about. I was like a little bit bored in the beginning. I almost felt like I was gonna fall asleep, but I didn't. I read through it. It kind of went through. But I did like how he opened the book. So I did like how he wrote, nothing in this book is known to be true. It's a reflection of what I've noticed, not facts as much as thoughts. Some ideas may resonate, others may not. A few may awaken an inner knowing you forgot you had. Use what's helpful, let go of the rest. Each of these moments is an invitation to go to further inquiry, looking deeper, zooming out or in, opening possibilities for a new way of being. So I thought that was actually really good. I was like, oh, this book's gonna be really good. And then I jump into it, and I was like, okay. I was like a little bit like, it was like, wah, wah. I don't know. Just like, I don't know. I felt like it kind of did pick up really well from where we left off on the other book, like talking about awareness. And that is about, how do you be self-aware? If you're not self-aware, then you're not really paying attention. So I did like that. And I like how he did kind of define creativity. I never really thought about it that way. I always define creative people as people who can paint and do art and do all these other things. I never really thought about it any other way. And I like how he says something about, I think he mentioned something about being at work and you're solving a problem. You're basically being creative, right? So it's like everything you're creating your own world and you're creating your own, you are the creator of your world. So I thought that was interesting. And then he kind of says that we all experience the world differently, but we all experience it at the same time. So like, again, kind of your way, if you're not paying attention, and I think Crystal, you had mentioned, like, he mentioned something about not being able to pick up what you pick up what other people are not noticing, like the details are what's important. So I thought that was a good way to kind of think about it. Details are important. It's all in the details, right? And then he says something about being open. So if you're not open, you're not really, again, being aware, which then he talks about from before. But he basically is saying that some of us are too distracted or have other things going on that we forget or we are not noticing the things that are right in front of us. So I thought this whole book was really about how to be creative. But it's more about like developing your creativity, right? And like how you can harness it and be, I guess, self-aware about it. So that's what made me think about it. I still don't love the book. I'm still having a little bit of a hard time getting into it, but I do also like how short the chapters are and how big the print is. So I will agree with you on those parts. Because I felt so accomplished when I read so fast. I was like, wow, I've already read like 40 pages. This is great. So I like flew through it. But yeah, I hope it gets better for me in terms of like just being engaging a little bit more. So but I do like how the book feels also, right? It like looks nice. And I like how it feels for like my ADD. It totally like, brings me back in. I love it. So anyway, here we are.
I'll head up next. I don't really know what I think of this book yet. But I'm just trying to go with like one of the first notes I wrote. It said, through the state of being, we're already creators, composing the world we perceive. So I'm trying to be more open to it. I think of myself as being creative, but not artistic. I can't even draw a stick person. So art is not something that I enjoy doing. But the book is just trying to give me little nuggets, and sometimes I wish it kind of continued through. Like I find it's a little nugget, then it moves on, and I'm not really sure what I feel about it, but I'll share with you some of the points that I got. It talks about the universe functions like a clock. To everything there is a season, etc. So that kind of, I was able to kind of relate. Sometimes life goes up, sometimes life goes down, and we all go through different seasons in life. And yeah, I always want it to be summer in my world, but it's not going to be like that. So I just have to be able to kind of take all the seasons as they come. If you practice a way of being in the world through innocent eyes, if you see things through innocent eyes, then it frees you up to act with the universal timetable. I'm like, okay. So once again, it's kind of, sometimes I find that a little bit loopy, like, oh, I just have to like, oh, hang in there and wait for the universe to do what it wants. But yeah, here again, this is me just trying to be open to what the book shares. Awareness, it's a state, is not a state that you force, it's something you actively allow to happen. So I'm like, okay, that I thought was a really good nugget, just being able to sometimes accept what's out there and take it all in, but you don't have to keep trying so hard. Just life is going to unfold as it is, which can be hard for those of us that like to kind of get things done. Spirituality can be simplified as believing in connection. Faith allows us to trust the direction without needing to understand it. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds obvious to me. I like that. When looking for a solution to a problem, pay close attention to what's happening around you. And I think for me, that was a good nugget. I think sometimes our intuition and we sometimes know better, but yet we follow what we think we should do or what is perceived we should do. And sometimes we don't have a choice, but just being able to feel these things and take them in is something to work on. Which leads into, so when something out of the ordinary happens, ask yourself why. The more open you are, the more clues you will find. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm going to try and pay a little more attention to that. Okay. Yes, we've all talked about the appendix, so I won't talk about that. And broadening our practice of awareness is a choice we can make at any moment. And the key word in there is choice. I'm like, oh, okay. So we often choose, yes, how we react. And I could embarrass myself, but I'm going to tell you a little story. I was on my way. I'd gone down to the beach to finish reading this last night. It was a great night here. And on my way home, this a-hole just cut me right off. And my instincts were to go after him, chase him, and tell him what an idiot he was. And that's what I did. And I made the choice. And I came up to him and I'm like, what? Yeah, and I'm swearing at him, like, you cut me off. And he didn't speak very good English. So all my yelling at him was for naught. And then she's like, he wants to get someone on the phone to translate. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking. And I ended up just driving away. And on the way home, I'm like, what was that all about? Like, what was your need to be able to yell at this guy who in the end didn't even really speak English, didn't know what you were saying? So, life lessons, sometimes we just have to realize we make choices about things. And that was not a good choice that I made last night. So not so proud of that one. Focus on what's going on inside ourselves. We have a wealth of material can be found. An abundance of high quality info is in our subconscious. And that I believe, like I said, sometimes I think that we have to learn to trust ourselves more. Regardless of how much we pay attention, the info we seek is out there. Those voices within, sometimes we need to turn them down. And then the last thing about self-doubt, it's out there to serve us. So yeah, I'm a little torn on the book. I agree. It's nice. It's easy reading. I like the little nuggets, but I'm still trying to kind of capture enough information to make it sink in. So we'll keep it up and see what we can learn.
Okay. That was awesome. All right. I love the book. I think it's amazing. I'm actually loving reading. I'm like, oh, Shannon has some time to herself. Yeah, it's great. So the things that stood out to me was look for what you notice that no one else does. How cool is that? If you walked into a room and noticed something that nobody else has noticed, first of all, it makes you feel like special. And secondly, you're like, I can help somebody because I noticed something that nobody else noticed. That I love that. Pay particular attention to the moments that take your breath away. It had examples, but have you guys ever thought about that just for like a heartbeat? Can you like think of one moment in your life that literally took your breath away? That's they're few and far between. I mean, women can say it's when they had their babies. Men could say maybe when they held their baby. It would literally take your breath away, probably because we're in pain, but also it's a beautiful thing. But like, guys, there's not too many things. So you have to really notice the things around you to let it take your breath away. So I was just like, I'm gonna be more intentional on that kind of thing. And then he says, the true instrument is you. Through you, the universe that surrounds us all comes into focus. And again, that goes with the theme that if you have that inner part of you, that the world revolves around you in a certain kind of way, man, you see it so differently. And I drove to Fort St. John the other day. So I was a podcast queen. And this podcast said emotions are captivity, and that's really true. I was stuck in an emotion for probably 8 months, and I'm not that kind of person, but it knocked my world, and I'm out now, so it's good. And then it also said, stop changing your life to fit the expectations of others. So I was like, oh my, like that fits into this too. Like I just feel like every little piece of my world is coming into focus at the time I am right now because I'm looking inward so I can project outward and see the beauties in life that I missed. So I like it. I like this book. So that's my input.
Well, I'm very disappointed to say, um, for the first time ever, I haven't read a page. I've been extremely, extremely busy nonstop. You can ask my team, like back-to-back meetings. I know, but I'm going to catch up today, tonight actually. So
You'll be able to do it in about 30 minutes.
yeah. So, but my only concern is the only person that really loved the book, and not a concern, is Shannon. So this book came highly suggested. So maybe it's just a slow go, but I do feel like every book, even Sapiens or other books that we've read, I always feel like there are some nuggets in there. And I'm just at a stage in my life where the smallest nuggets are more important to me than big nuggets. I feel like, because I feel like I got a lot of the big nuggets that are in my subconscious, that are in my mind. So like the small nuggets are kind of just like, I guess the analogy of, don't put the sand in first. And I feel like that's what I've been doing. I've been filling my cup up with all these big nuggets. And I feel like what I'm hearing you guys, this book is kind of the sand. That's, it's kind of boring because we've gotten so many big nuggets that it's kind of elementary. But I do feel like, this is probably going to be one of those books that maybe there is a big nugget at the end, or at the end. It's kind of like what you said, Shannon, about this book helped you kind of tie this podcast, into that. So that's what I'm excited about. And I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but I got to be honest. I was going to read this morning, and then my wife had a meeting at the house early this morning, and the meeting ran over, and I've been late for every meeting today. This is the only meeting I've been on time for today. So, but I promise you, I will. And next week I am supposed to be in a meeting in Phoenix, Arizona. So I'm going to try to get on for 15 or 20 minutes and at least give my takeaway in the beginning, just so I can be a part of it and just take a break from the meeting. But it'll be 10 o'clock out there. So, and our meeting's supposed to start at 7. So I'll just I tell them I got a 10 o'clock meeting for 15 minutes. But I will catch up. And I apologize. As a leader, I should not be giving these excuses, but because it is an excuse. I could have found time. But I'm going to be on planes a lot this month, so that will not happen again.
I guess we forgive you.
Yeah, well, it's like once in 7 years. You're good.
Yeah, I know. I told my wife today, I was like, she was like, "You seem stressed," and I was like, "I haven't read one page of this book for the book club." And she was like, "Babe, it happens," and I was like, "No, it doesn't happen." And she was like, "Well, just be honest." And I was like, "I know, it's like, ugh." But last night I went to bed. I was like, "All right, I'm getting up early this morning." My wife's like, "Hey, can you meet at 7 this morning?" And I was like, and then my daughter woke up because she's having this thing with thunder and rain. I don't know why, it's a new thing that she's going through. And she, last night at 10 o'clock, she starts crying and she was like, "I don't want it to thunder or rain." I'm like, "It's not thunder or rain, but I don't want it to." And I'm just like, "We're in a house, it's gonna be okay." So she just goes through these things that, like, I have no idea where they come from. But we've had a lot of thunder this summer, so much so that my property got hit with lightning, and literally it took out like my switch, it took out like my TV box, it took out my Apple TV, it took out my lights, my outdoor lights, it took out what else did it take out? Outdoor lights, that, and then there's one other thing that it took out that I had to have them
The
come,
gate,
like, just,
no?
what's that?
The gate, wasn't it the gate?
The gate, yeah, two gate motors that I literally just got two new gate motors 3 weeks ago, and it took them out. And then my air conditioning in my office, and it didn't strike the property. He was like, it could strike a mile away, and because you have low voltage, it was all low voltage stuff, and he was like, it could like resonate through the ground. And I'm just like, and so I called my builder and I was like, "So if my house got struck by lightning, would it be a problem?" And he was like, "Well, so the problem is your house is very hurricane proof. It's a bunker, like nothing is going to knock your house over. But your house is metal and concrete. So if lightning strikes, it could go through the entire house because of the metal rebar that's all through the house." And I was like, never thought I was living in a bunker, but
Well, here's the thing. That will take your breath away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
and everything else in the house with it electronically.
That's awesome.
But I'm glad that you
the-
showed up. Good for showing up. That's the main thing. You weren't embarrassed to show up and tell the truth.
Yes.
I like that.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not embarrassed. I would say that I'm humbled. But I don't like to let people down, and I feel like I'm letting you guys down because I didn't.
No, not at all. I mean, sometimes it really does happen. You didn't get to read the book, so I mean, it happens, Jay.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed. I'm gonna tell somebody after. But
There you go. There you
Go on
go.
social
there I
media.
was on my call.
You can do it on the Next Level Book Club and just be like, "Our fearless leader did not read
Get on
his
my
75
story.
pages."
There I was. Jay did not read the book. A loser. No.
You guys are hilarious.
Love it.
All right, guys. Well, I will see you next week from Phoenix.
Awesome.
Thank
All right,
y'all.
see you guys.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.